Hey, reviews.
Back up in here, yo.
Captive State, how does it? And bang!
Explosion.
Boom! Okay, so basically, quickly to summarize it until we get into the spoilers, but technically, this is how the film ends. Humans finally revolt. And there are a chain reaction of explosions set up by John Goodman's self-sacrifice. Because, dun dun dun! If you're watching it, obviously, this is spoilers. He was a mole! A mole!
The whole time.
So
he sacrificed himself to, start the war.
For the greater good. He was the match that lit the flame of rebelliousness. He caused the Phoenix, which technically is a metaphor for how humans were going to come back and try to take over the Earth back from the aliens. And there were explosions all over the world against these cockroaches, is what people were calling them.
Yeah.
In the film. So let's get into some of the intriguing parts. So right off the bat, we see John Goodman's in this brothel. We see the commissioner leaving this brothel. So we know the commissioner's like, okay, well, commissioner is probably like kind of a little dirty, probably. And then so John Goodman goes in there, and right away you see that there's a picture of a Trojan horse on the wall. He seems a little bit distraught, like he doesn't really want to be there with the prostitute, yada, yada, yada. Fast forward, has surveillance on Gabriel, our other main character, who is one of the brothers you see earlier in the film. Their parents get killed by these things, like when they very first invade.
Yeah, they're trying to get out of Chicago.
Yeah.
And they show their actual weapon, which is basically disintegrates people into dust.
Which, according to this film, happens next month. And then what we're watching is 9 years into the future.
Yes.
So it technically would be 2028.
Yeah.
Which his brother supposedly dies 2 years prior to the events that we're watching because
of a
rebellion that tried to get into the closed zone, and which he was part of the Phoenix group. There's a disclosure that the brother faked his death, kind of. He had his little bug tracker removed.
Yes.
There are other people, other cell agents, if you will, that are out there, part of the resistance, that are moving this whole, kind of movement forward, right? To basically take over the Earth.
Yeah, there's huge.
Or to get the Earth back, basically.
Yeah, the huge plot of the movie, you're basically watching them trying to get to the closed zone. Like, the whole plan is to blow up the closed zone or destroy the closed area. I guess that's where most of the leadership resides.
Yep, to show humans that, hey, we can fight these things, we can hurt them, we can beat them. Let's take the Earth back.
Yes.
Right. Don't let those super rich or people who are basically being persuaded by greed and power to kind of aid them in their basically
stripping the world of their resources.
Yeah, stripping the world of the resources.
Yes. And then they do this whole big huge plot to know what? To fail.
It's a failed plot.
It's a failed plot.
To succeed.
So they basically failed on purpose to let them lower their guard so you can technically succeed at the end.
So they go through this whole rigmarole of setting up this whole Phoenix cell network on the surface.
Yeah.
And then making it seem like John Goodman's character has brought it all down.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, good human. We would like to meet this human.
Yeah, and they expose the commissioner. So when you expose the commissioner loses his job. Who becomes the new commissioner?
John Goodman.
Because the commissioner and the leadership are the only people that can go down into that area to actually talk to the leadership.
Yep.
So
the legislature.
And they have what they call this bomb that's invisible. I forgot what they called it though.
Oh yes. So and then it was really interesting to me because apparently they acquired this from fallen ships. So it's basically alien tech that it turns into a chameleon. Whatever it touches after it's been activated, it blends in 100%.
Yeah, so it basically
non-detectable because it's organic.
Yeah, it becomes invisible once you detonate it or basically arm it. Once you arm it, it's completely invisible, and then they just basically stick it and then it just blows up like a minute later.
Yeah, you have to double tap it, which I thought was so hilarious. He's like, "You good, yo?"
We blows the one guy up. And he's like, "Tap tap." He's like, "Don't touch me."
Yeah. He's like, "Yeah, man, good job out there." He's like, "Don't touch me." Yeah. He's walks, and the aliens are like, da, 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 and then they're watching the monitor, and it's like tracking. Oh, tracking lost. All units report to the stadium. And they basically blow up some aliens finally, and that's like step number one.
Because it seems like that was like their whole goal along, but it's not.
That's how they introduce you to the hunter aliens.
Yes.
Now I really wanted to see what they look like underneath, because we actually get to see what a regular alien, what they call the roach, looks like. Technically,
well, I think it's the same one. It's just they have a suit over them, right?
We don't know.
Oh, yeah, but I think it's just that they're the same ones, but it just has an exo suit. They're more like designed for combat. It looks like.
See, we don't know for sure because we don't get to see it.
But I think that's kind of what it is. Like they just have like an exo suit over like what the other suit.
Kind of reminded me of Independence Day a little bit, right?
Yeah.
When that little one finally gets taken out of the big old suit.
Yeah, and I think that the normal ones have that little small suit that they have over that has spikes around it. And I guess the exosuit's a bigger suit they can use for more protection. More weaponized. Yeah. Because they can use that actual, like, disintegration blast.
Mm-hmm. So, that was interesting. Any other spoiler type of stuff you want to talk about on this one?
For the most part, you just see, like, John Goodman's in on it the entire time. And you're like, oh, well, I figured that out, like, halfway through the movie.
Oh, okay. So, here's my question. This is what I was thinking. That you totally reminded me of this. So he tells Gabriel that Rafe is still alive.
Yeah.
Now, he gets on that ship that takes people up, and it's supposed to be off planet. So I'm like, did he go off planet to start
a
rebellion wherever they're taking people, right?
Yeah, because they don't really explain what happens, but I guess like the worst criminals they send off planet.
Now, here's the key thing in question. Let's talk about this in the comments if you guys have seen this. Do we think the commissioner might have been on it at the end? Because Rafe looks at him over his shoulder, and they look back at each other, and then they just kind of like, and they get ready to go on the ship. I don't know if you noticed that or not.
I noticed they looked, but I don't know if they were in on it. Because I don't know if the commissioner is in on it. Maybe. It'd be a cool plot twist on it.
Could be. We don't know.
But it's almost like he was just disgraced, and he's like, I don't want anybody to know the hell I'm out here. Like, I mean, you basically got embarrassed and lost your status. So it could be that he's just embarrassed, or it could be the fact that they're in on it and about to start a rebellion on the aliens' homeworld that they're all getting shipped off to.
Yeah, because it could be either or. Like him being upset that he got caught on tape could have been all part of the act, right?
Yeah.
Because John Goodman's character was super gun ho, like, hey man, I gotta find these people, gotta bring them in, yada yada yada, and then there was a whole.
I guess since they're in on it, he's on any of the tapes.
Yeah.
So
because they took him off, right? Or she probably never recorded.
That's what I'm saying, because they're in it. They never recorded him because he's in on it, so it shows that he doesn't know who that lady is.
Yep, exactly. And then he was like, "I can't protect you anymore." Remember that part?
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh yeah, this is a plot thing going on right now." So it's crazy. The small memory card that he gives Gabriel
shows how
from the BlackBerry
yeah.
was crazy. I was like, wait a minute, whose BlackBerry was that?
I want to say it was Goodman's.
But remember, he's being recorded as he comes up the stairs.
His dad's. It's probably his dad's. It's probably the dad on the actual thing.
And the crazy part is, so the dad was a cop.
Yeah.
The wife was a teacher.
Yeah.
And basically, you find out that they basically were a group of teachers
and cops.
Yeah. And then ex-military.
Yeah.
And they were basically the people who formed the resistance initially.
So all the people you see in the little video are all part of the resistance people that were working together to basically do this whole plot. And
I guess like the dad was like the ringleader of the initial like, oh, we should form together, because in the video they're like, hi baby Gabriel, and it's like a video before he's born basically. And then that's why they all know who he is.
Because the dad and mom die trying to get out the city originally.
Yep.
So it's almost like, vengeance, show. You kill one of our people, we're taking all you out.
So it was pretty cool. I like that part. Just from that, it kind of, for me, it made it better. It took a really long time
to
get to that. Overall, it's probably like a 2.5. But when you get to the very end, you're like, okay, not as bad.
Even though when you saw the memory card, you thought it was probably going to be a virus.
Oh, I totally thought it was.
That it was like he hastily started a virus that like affected the entire system and shut it down. But then like, oh, it's just home movie of him basically
to give him like, I don't know, hope or something.
Insight that like all these people that you were working with and dealing with knew your parents. So, but they're all dead now, so it's kind of
right. Almost all of them, pretty much.
And they all knew who he was, and that's why he was weird. Like they're all like, "Hey, Gabriel," and he's almost like, "How do you know who I am?"
Oh, and then the part that they all had to like kill themselves too. That was crazy.
Yeah.
So like one dude cuts his wrist, the other guy blows himself with a bomb. The dude in the wheelchair like just throws himself off the stairs.
Because like basically they're giving up. They don't want to find like get tortured or
Dude
found
at
out
the
the plot.
newspaper jumped out the window, yo.
Yeah, he jumped out the window.
They don't show it, but they just show like he left a note and then the window's open.
Yeah.
So yeah.
They all took themselves out and like, okay, well, the one guy did the little cyanide and was like, I'm out.
I was like, he probably had the easiest way out.
Then the brother was gonna take it, and Goodman was like, not today.
Yeah, I was like, where did he shoot him?
He shot him in his hand because he was about to take the the cyanide.
I was thinking like it was like a wrist.
Yeah, he's about to take the cyanide pill,
yeah.
and Goodman shoots him in his hand, so he can't take the pill to kill himself.
So that was pretty wild. So overall, like we said initially, probably like 2.5, maybe a 3 for being nice because the ending is cool. But I personally don't think that saves the entire film.
No, it does. It doesn't save the film at all. Yeah. It just helps it. I mean, it was long.
It makes it not a 1.
Yeah, because the movie was dragging on. I'm sitting through this thing like, okay, let's get to this.
Yeah, and all the trailers kind of hype it a little bit too much, where you think you're gonna see some action. Yeah. They do show like there's a bunch of like alien tech that there are glimpses of, like those rovers.
Yeah.
That are like kind of like look like the tanks or those robots from the first RoboCop.
Yeah,
movie.
they kind of show for a second like looking at the people and then it doesn't do anything. Like it just IDs everyone and then.
Man, I thought that thing was gonna go like ballistic, like yeah,
like the
hostile,
like that. I thought I was gonna see that, but like all of a sudden like just start dusting everyone.
Yeah, start dusting
and
people.
It doesn't do that, and you're just like, all right, well. And I was like, how did it pick the people out and to just shoot them? Because there's all these people running. They're like, oh, that one guy running, shoot him. Like I was like, how did the police pick that? Like the one guy in on it, know that he was running away.
Yeah, there are for sure some flaws in their whole setup.
There's like all the people running from the stadium. Wait, that one guy running from the stadium is in on it. Let me shoot him. Like just shoot on sight, no questions, shot on sight. Like
they're like freeze. Oh, they're not freezing.
Yeah, it was like. The explosion just went off in the stadium. Everyone's running.
Oh, and let's address this before we get off on here. No, I do not think this film has any type of representation towards the current administration, or it's supposed to be like a big political film. There are a ton of movies that have very similar references to this. District 9 for one. I mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
I think resembles this film, or this film resembles that a whole lot more.
I mean, yes, there's a wall involved. But I mean, it's not like everyone's like, "Oh my goodness, the wall." I mean, like they actually go in and out the wall like pretty often. Like it doesn't really stop them to actually get in and out of the entire like, city. Often. So it's like, all right, well, it's no big deal. Like, oh, it's one tech that they show like those one things that sucked up on the wall.
Plus, that was in Chicago too. It wasn't like the entire U.S.
Yeah, one tech they showed those little things that stuck on the wall. When he was hiding from. Yeah. Which they didn't really explain what those things were supposed to do.
Some type of bug. Well, they say drones.
Yeah, like they stuck on the wall, like they're gonna wall him
like
in.
Organic drones or something.
They were gonna wall him in or something, but then like it was just weird.
They were trying to get him.
Yeah, but they were kind of like stick up against the wall, like squared up, and like made an actual like prison almost.
Well, they were just trying to get into that his little like cell that he was in, kind of his own little. I want to say it looked like it was maybe like a subway entrance or something.
It was a subway. It was the booth, whatever, for the subway. So
like
he runs in there.
Yeah, it was a ticketing booth. I think.
The ticketing booth, and then they basically just walled it up, trying to get in, or actually they just kind of stopped him in there. And I'm like, so if they weren't there, it would just surrounded him, and then he would have been like walled up in those things, and it would just sucked his like essence or body.
I'm sure he would have died.
Yeah, like it was really weird. They showed like a lot of tech. They didn't really explain what they do or what it is. Like,
I would have liked a whole lot more background on that stuff. Again, like I said, it was kind of. Oh, you ever see Chappie?
Yes.
So it reminds me a little bit of. I think the same director did District 9 as well. But it reminded me a whole lot of like Chappie mixed with a little bit of District 9, and then you get this film, which sounds like it would be a good movie.
Yeah, but it doesn't have the same.
It's not. It doesn't have. It's not the same. I don't think it's the same director.
No, it's not the same director.
So the whole flow is different. So, yeah. I mean. Overall, ending helped it a whole lot.
Helped it, yeah, but the first part, it does drag, and you're going through, like, I need to see some action, because you're expecting action, and it doesn't happen.
Yeah, it really doesn't. That's interesting. So I just really quickly looked up the director. He has credits for Rise of the Planet of the Apes, The Escapist, and The Gambler. The Gambler is a very sad film.
And so was
Depressing film.
So was Rise of the Planet of the Apes too.
Yes. So I guess that's what he's known
He's
for.
like depressing movie. It's just what isn't really depressing. It just feels like kind of they want to feel like the hopelessness, but it's not really like.
You kind of really don't. I mean,
and you still don't feel like it. They make it, they didn't give enough of that hopelessness that like, hey, the people are like it's days away from like everyone just dying. Like they don't really come across that. Like yeah, there's a lot of poverty, but they don't come across like hey. Like we need to do this now because we're all gonna get wiped out.
Definitely, there's definitely a way he could have made this film where it seems like they were literally like crushed.
Yeah.
Right, like the human spirit was crushed. You don't really get that from this because there's a ton of people that are like, "Yay, aliens! I'm still living a life of luxury."
Yeah, they said there's a split in class.
Yeah,
like the
it's
people that have money,
the greatest.
But they're saying the people that have money have all this luxury. But you never really see the people that
you
have money.
The luxurious people, yeah.
So you don't see it. They just kind of tell you that that's happening, but you don't see it. But then it's like poverty. But I'm like, I mean, that's what people in Chicago look like now. So like,
yeah,
they're not really showing you like, hey, like we're about to die tomorrow. Like,
right?
And they're like, they have a dude has a job. He's going to his job. He has
like
a girlfriend he lives
like,
with.
People look a little bit down, and there are some slums. But I'm just like, it doesn't seem that bad, right?
Yeah, like they're just in a police state where it's just like you gotta follow the rules, or we basically gonna kill you on sight or something on, or get you deported back to the.
Pick you up by the special unit in the,
throw you in a van
police,
somewhere if you don't do it. But other than that, like it's not like they go through like. Hey.
It's like Home Chick was trying to steal like a memory card. Or whatever,
yeah, and they basically threw her in a van, but that doesn't seem like hey. It'd been different if like she did that and someone came out and just killed her on sight. Like then you're like, oh, you can't do anything. Or, like if someone jaywalked and killed him on sight, then you're like, okay.
That would be a form of showing how the human race was crushed by aliens.
Like something like that. But they didn't go that far. They kind of just was like, oh, there's some things that we can't do.
Yeah. So, yeah. Overall, like I said, 2.5. Like, comment, subscribe.
Share it to everybody.
Let us know down in the comments below if there's any films or any comments that you guys want to go over as far as having a discussion about the movie itself. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace.